We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made on YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan. Bryan Daniels better than Okada.
How do you not get 50 after Monday Night Raw?
Welcome to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. A show where a rotating cast of wrestling fans from around the world come and share and debate their opinions, with live comments from all of you shown throughout. As after all, fans are what makes wrestling so special. So sit back, grab a beverage, and enjoy the show. Good evening, wrestling fans. I'm Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, and we are going to be breaking down last night's episode of Monday Night Raw. And usually you watch an episode of Raw almost because you have an expectation of what's going to happen. It's the same thing almost every single week. A Vision segment resulting in a Vision tag match, and that's how the show opened last night. And I thought, okay, well, it's going to be the same thing as normal. I know where I am, I know what's going to happen. And then out of nowhere in the next segment, this mystery crate appeared. What is inside? I don't know. But Adam Pearce goes, send it to SmackDown. He didn't think, oh, let me take a peek inside. He just blindly believed, okay, I shouldn't open this until Elimination Chamber just because it says it on the front. Surely security should have checked this first. Surely they should have opened it to make sure it was safe to be in the presence of Adam Pearce. But no. We have no clue what's in it. And I don't like surprises. I really don't. But I am joined today with Lawrence and with Jordy. And Jordy, out of the gates, I want to get your thoughts right on what is inside this crate, because I know you're a big fan of Mickey Mouse, aren't you?
Yeah, that's true.
As a kid, there was this show, and I think it might have just been called the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. But like whenever my parents put it on for me or whatever, like I always used to think to myself, this is so bizarre, because the tune went, it's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, come inside, it's fun inside. And I always used to think to myself, why on earth would I go inside? I don't know what's inside. I don't know if it's really going to be fun. And I feel the exact same way about this crate. What the hell is going on, Jordy?
Listen, don't you be comparing mystery crates to Mickey Mouse Clubhouses. I'm an honorary member. And no, yeah, it's fun inside. But the crate, I don't know. Yeah, very weird. I kind of respect Pierce just being like, yeah, not my problem. Send it on. I thought he was just going to say send it to Toronto because no, Chicago, just like send it straight to the chamber, like. But no, he was like, nah, let Nick Aldis deal with it. So I think fair enough. It's obviously probably going to get sent back to him, and there'll be a bit of to and fro. I don't know what's in it. I don't know who's in it. I don't know if there's a thing in it, if there's a person in it. I know there's a lot of Jericho talk. And I do think it's something that he could maybe come up with. So it's a possibility. I'm definitely not ruling that out. I just don't. I'm clueless. It feel like the egg all over again, doesn't it?
It really does. Hopefully it's a better outcome. It also feels very, very similar to what Eric Rowan had a few years ago with that crate that he was carrying around, and it ended up being some like spider thing which they never explained, and they just decided to abandon a couple of weeks later. But look, it's very, very bizarre. And Donnie has a theory here. You mentioned Jericho. Inside, there's a large scroll with a big feather quill. And on the scroll, it says the list of Jericho. Huge pop. Cue the music. He's here. And it's in the same building as where Chamber is that Jericho debuted in Chicago.
I didn't realize
so that is fascinating as well. But I just don't know, because Jericho usually doesn't repeat gimmicks. He usually is something new and fresh every single time. Also, why would the package need to be this big if it was just a scroll?
I think that's the joke of it, isn't it? That's the box within a box within a box kind of joke, maybe.
It's absolutely crazy to me, but it's got us talking. And we got Say saying that this is the most disinterested they've been in a WWE segment.
Wow.
I mean, that's a big surprise. I'm going to be honest. I am interested, right? I have a feeling it could be a letdown, but I am interested in it. It is also International Pancake Day, and I've had a total of 9.5 pancakes today to celebrate it.
Wow.
There's been a lot of pancakes in my house, and yeah, well, crepes. It's crepes we have, as you guys would call it in America.
Yes.
Not American pancakes. A 9.5 of those would be too much. But Lawrence, I want to get your thoughts. What is inside this crate?
Oh man, what's inside the crate? Could it be Jericho? Could it just be a small item inside the crate? I'm kind of on the fence of saying that the crate is larger than what's actually inside of it. So when we open up the crate, it's something incredibly small that signifies something that people are going to look at and say, think, and then I think music will play. I mean, I'm definitely interested to see exactly what it is. I kind of am really at a loss. I really don't know. I'm not trying to speculate really too much. I'm just kind of looking to enjoy the segment and see where we go with it. So that's just really my thoughts.
I mean, fair enough. And to your point, it could be something where it is a wrestler and then they come out and perhaps it is the list of Donnie's idea or Fernando saying the same thing as well. But there is another theory going around. And one of those theories is the fact that it could be something to promote 2K26, which I do fear. But I just think the 2K marketing team would be smart enough to realize that that would get more backlash than actual positivity out of it. And free marketing from there. But I have my own theory, right, guys? And my theory is this. I think someone has been living in this box. And I believe they have been living in this box since the 30th of December 2023, excluding independent events. Because I believe in this box is AEW wrestler until later this week, Danhausen. We know he's close with CM Punk. CM Punk wrestled in his boots for an entire year because he found Danhausen's boots comfier than his own. So Danhausen, I guess he had to wrestle bare feet. I don't know. But this man has been one of AEW's top merchandise sellers now for the last few years, and like I just said, he hasn't been on AEW television since 2023. It's been 2 years and 2 months since we've seen this guy. Yes, he's done independent events. Yes, he's defeated Matt Cardona in GCW during that time. But if any wrestler is going to be living in a crate, it's going to be Danhausen. I mean, Jordy, do you know much about Danhausen?
I know enough to know that living in a crate would be would definitely pass. This is the thing, man. You're absolutely right. I'm not ruling anything out. It could be. It really could be Danhausen. I'm just trying to rack my brain to think of like who else could it be? Is the reason it's a crate? Has somebody said the only way you'll catch me back in WWE is if I'm in a wooden box? You know what I mean? Insinuating that you won't catch me there dead. That's never happening. Like hell froze over situation with CM Punk. Yeah, definitely. I've heard people say
heard that.
No, yeah, like it's like saying the only way I'm like over my dead body. It's that essentially. It's that saying.
Yeah.
So like I honestly. I'm clueless at this point. I don't know. Is the person that opens this crate, is that going to be significant? Is it going to burst open itself? Do you know what I mean? Like so many questions.
Because Danhausen's going to jump out of this crate and he's going to go, "You're cursed," and that he does it to everybody. He's going to curse this person. And I have a feeling it could well be Adam Pearce, and his life might be about to get even worse based on last night. I mean, that's what Donnie's saying. It's such a wacky idea, though, that it would make sense, Hausen. Exactly. Yeah, it is the only person in the world who it makes sense if they are actually in this box is Danhausen. He's the only person. Otherwise, it's got to be an item or something like that. Hornswoggle, it wouldn't be a box that tall. Let's be honest about it, right? And yeah, I mean, we're in a situation here where we are at least talking about this. And yes, Danhausen is not going to be a future world champion. I really, really do not think that, right? But he's going to be an R-Truth. He's going to be a gimmick. He's going to be there to sell merchandise. He's going to be there to lose matches, but to be in backstage segments. He was never really suited to AEW, if we're being honest, but he would be massively suited to the WWE. But I do want to ask you guys something, right? Because there is one more idea I had, and Lawrence, I'll put this to you first. They are currently struggling to sell WrestleMania tickets. It's been widely reported they had an all-hands-on-deck meeting last week. What if, in this crate, it's an announcement that WrestleMania tickets are going to be like 40% off for 48 hours or something like that? And the reason they are making this such a big deal is to make sure people are paying attention when it gets revealed.
I like that. I like that, Ben. I think that's a good idea, right? Like, especially it could be, something like a promo like that, giving people, 20, 30% off tickets. I think 40% would be, maybe a bit too much, but
they tried 25% this week and it didn't work very well. That's why I said 40.
Okay. So the 25% didn't work. Got you. Okay. So I would say then, that's interesting. I think that then they could I think that makes it more attractive to people for sure. And if it's not a person, if it's more of getting eyes on it, saying, hey, a package is coming here, and it's some big sign that says, hey, 40% off tickets, right? The next 24 hours or next 48 hours. I do think that could be pretty dope. Especially being as you're going to have a lot of eyes on it because it is a pay-per-view event. The pay-per-view Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, I think even though WrestleMania is not solidified, I think that the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is setting up to be pretty nice. I think both the men's matches, both the men's and the women's matches are going to be interesting, right? You really don't. I mean, we're confident as we start to see the lineup shape up for the men's that Cody's going to go over, right? But in the women's match, I think you can make a case for a lot of them to go over. At least 4 of the women's participants, you could make a case for them to win.
Really?
Yeah.
Because my theory with that women's match is I think Tiffany Stratton is going to very easily win it. Meanwhile, everybody else in there, based on the 2 remaining qualifying matches as well, is seemingly going to be in a tag team. So I think it's going to all lead to Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus the Kabuki Warriors in a TLC match at WrestleMania. And the Chamber's what's setting it up because all the other people involved are those people.
Mm-hmm. I guess I just don't see the need for people to run. Well, for us to run back Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill again.
I agree with that. This is my frustration with the booking. I do want to see
that. I do want to see the TLC match though. I would love that. And I think they would put on an absolute blockbuster of a match. But yeah, you're right. We're not in the. I know this is a situation where injuries have kind of dictated a bit of it on the men's division for sure. We're not in the place we were 2 years back, are we? Where
we're not in the place we were a year ago. I don't know what's happened.
It's slow burn. It's a slow burn, long domino effect of things that this is the moment where TKO WWE are seeing like, I think a huge part of it is any city you run Mania in twice, the ticket sales will struggle the year after because like it is for so many, it's a once in a lifetime thing. When it comes to my city and I'm at the certain age where I am comfortable and stable and I can afford it, I will do it. And running it in Vegas twice, people might not even want to go to Vegas 2 years on the bounce, whether Mania is there or not. That's like if they did that 10 years after, people would probably go again and be like, let's get the squad together again. Let's go back to Vegas. But a year later, really? And after the whole, I don't want to go for the sake of the people of New Orleans, right? Because I'm like, no, they shouldn't have changed it. Like, but I couldn't afford to go if I wanted anyway. That's the thing.
There is one more thing that I want to touch upon as well. You talk about ticket sales and all this. It might be because, as well, all signs point towards the 2 championship matches on the SmackDown side being Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre and Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton, which both happened in September. One on a SmackDown, one at WrestlePalooza. We are just running back like this isn't a blow-off. We've had 3 stages of hell. Even if you add Jacob Fatu, it's still cold as ice.
Yeah,
exactly.
It would be a good match, but
it's watering down the product. You're not, this is why if they were going to strap the title to Drew, they should have had better plans for Drew, right?
Yeah.
Because truth be told, Cody should have gotten out of the picture if Drew was going to get the title and really have a build. But you can kind of keep seeing every week. It's not even that Cody and Fatu are as much going after Drew. Drew is really going after them. I mean, he claimed more Cody out of the Rumble. Drew is like, I'm going to make sure you don't get your opportunity back. And you could tell that's the story they've been selling. And it comes back to what I said on yesterday's show with you, Ben. When you have too many cooks in the kitchen, the segment was The Rock and Triple H, potentially The Rock coming in. The question that came in from the fan that said, hey, is The Rock going to fire Triple H? But this goes back. I mean, we here at Wrestling Republic, I think we could have booked WrestleMania better than a creative team. If you sat everybody down here at Wrestling Republic, we could have established, hey, with all the injuries, we would have had Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, and we would have Roman Reigns and CM Punk. We would have figured out Breaker's situation, Seth coming back. All of those things could have been ironed out. On the women's side, even with Bianca Belair having finger surgery, being out of action, we could have figured those things out. But
Chelsea Green main event, night 1. It's easy.
I don't know about that one. But
okay, I won't come to the meeting.
but I'm sure that we could have nailed down here at Wrestling Republic's team if we would have said, hey, let Cody beat Drew another time. Obviously, we don't have enough for Drew, but we need to move these tickets. Orton versus Cody sells itself without even. Okay. I mean, and Roman Reigns and CM Punk sells itself. Roman Reigns and CM Punk on one promo, but we're excited for it. And you have to fill up the rest of the card. You brought up a triple threat TLC match at WrestleMania for the Women's Tag Team Championships. That's how you book a show.
That'll steal the show. Whichever night that's on, that is gonna steal the show. If that happens, I can almost guarantee it.
What match?
If the triple threat TLC tag match for the women's titles between Rhea, Io, Kabuki Warriors, and Charlotte and Alexa, if that match happens, that will steal the show, whichever night it's on. I guarantee it. What? The only one that Punk and Roman might go up against it. Fair enough. But I think
the women's TLC is the only match with storyline currently for this entire event. It's the only match. Do you know, watch it be on the SmackDown before Mania, just like they did with the men's tag team.
Oh, no, I believe it. They can't afford to, Ben. They can't. They've not got enough matches to put on the cards for 2 nights. I don't think. I honestly, at this point, I don't know what's going to be on the SmackDown before it. I think it's just going to be promos.
That's true.
And the last
Rusev might get a match.
Donnie says here in the comments that he hates to tell us, but the card doesn't sell Mania. Actually, if you look at over the last few years, the day where the Mania main events have been confirmed, there's been a huge ticket boost that day, right? So it does, obviously WrestleMania sells itself, but also the cards and the matches are a factor, right? It'll still sell well without a card. If it was a surprise card, it would still sell well, but it does matter to a degree. Also, there's a lovely compliment here from Heatron86 in the chat, but I'm not answering that question. That
Maybe Dave's watching.
PG. In the words of our truth. Numero 1 Superfly says Cody and Drew is going to be 5 stages of hell, whereas Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill is going to be a street fight, and Liv versus Roxanne will be for the title with Dirty Dom as the referee. That's too creative. Liv versus Roxanne is too creative. It's going to be Liv versus Stephanie. And on that note, let's talk about this promo, because look, as a segment, I really enjoyed this backstage thing between Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan last night. Coming out of it as a non-Spanish speaker, I thought, what a horrible person Stephanie Vaquer is. What horrible words has she said to Liv Morgan to make a heel cry like that? Liv Morgan was heartbroken. She had to take the rest of the night off. That is how heartbroken she was. Now, I've actually read the actual transcription, and I'll read it aloud in a minute. But, like, it's not even that bad. I have no idea why Liv Morgan was crying. I think whoever came up with the idea of Liv crying in this, it was a rubbish idea, because I came out of the segment feeling sorry for her, Jordy.
Man, we are exactly on the same page. Yeah, absolutely right. I watched it and I was thinking exactly the same as you. I'm not a Spanish speaker, but and we couldn't hear Dom translating. I was thinking, what on earth has she just said? Has she just like heel turned? Like, like, and obviously, like, my own ignorance, I don't speak Spanish, so I missed it. But like, I was very much really intrigued. Like, what she said, it must have been really personal. It must have been really mean. It must have been nasty because, look, like, Liv and Rhea had some back and forth, right? Like when their feud was going on, and there was no tears like that. Like that was like, you really upset the person, like, and I felt exactly like you. I felt so sorry for Liv, and Liv's meant to be the heel in this situation, I think, and I shouldn't be feeling sorry for her. So yeah, I also went back and I looked at the translation, and like, I cry pretty easy, and I don't think that would have made me cry. So I don't know. Ben, did you say you've got the translation?
I do.
Let's let the lovely people hear it.
The horrible words which Stephanie Vaquer said. It's actually a really good promo. Did you say 10 years of hard work? You working hard. That's BS. You've sacrificed nothing. WWE gave you everything. The best training, the best medical. You were given everything. You want to talk about sacrifice? I was born in Chile, a country where wrestling doesn't exist. And now I've traveled all over the world. Japan, Mexico, Latin America, Europe, and I've conquered everything. You should be ashamed because you need to hide behind the Judgment Day. It's sad that you need to hide behind a man. Let me tell you something. I went through hell and made it mine. Everything I did to get to WWE and to become champion. This title, for me, means more than just a title. It's for all the little girls, all the women who never got the opportunity to overcome. Liv, if you pick me, you won't win, because I'm going to show you what a real champion is. Brilliant promo. Brilliant. Why are you crying, Liv?
My only, hearing you say it there, my only thing that I think might have made her cry is insinuating that she isn't somebody that little girls look up to.
Oh.
That's the only thing, because like when you said it then, I read it and I didn't think too much of it, but like that is like saying, look, like I'm the example that you should have been. And it's like, ooh, because I think like the person that I like, the Liv Morgan that I know very much prides herself on being an example for little girls that want to grow up and be a wrestler. So it could be that, and the whole hide behind a man thing.
Doesn't think that.
No,
she's spitting chewing gum in the front row.
This is the thing. So that's the person behind Liv Morgan who I think would be upset by that. Liv Morgan, the character, would be like, didn't ask and walk off. Like, do you know what I mean? She would just be like, didn't understand what you said and didn't care anyway. So see you at Mania and you're gonna lose. Like she's so flippant when people like try and go at her passionately like that. She doesn't go passionately back. I remember when Jade Cargill shouted at her just after she'd come back, and Liv turned around and went, "Try not to fall on a car again." And like she's so unserious when people are shouting at her like that. So it wasn't very much a change of pace. Yeah.
I mean, the other possibility, which I have only just realized looking at the photo. What if Dom's just a really bad translator and just said something absolutely horrible that actually Stephanie Vaquer didn't say?
Could be the case. That could be the case.
That would be a plot twist, wouldn't it? DCX says, I think Ben's theory about the crate might be right, Towson. Donnie says, I didn't mind Liv crying as a heel who feels call out and isn't who she says she is. I mean... that's not going to translate though to people who like, we understand the business, but like, for example, little kids, if you saw that segment, especially when Stephanie Vaquer's attire is like devil clothes and stuff, you are going to think, if you don't know much about her, that Stephanie Vaquer is the heel here. I really, really do think this. Meanwhile, Donnie says this was Liv's self-tape audition for the next DiCaprio film. It might just be. It might just be.
I think Liv feeling called out wouldn't have been too bad, but I think showing Stephanie and doing it so publicly, I think if they were going to do that angle, it would have been better to have behind closed doors. We start to see the cracks. Like she says, "No, Dom, I'm fine, and then he walks off and he's like, "Okay, I'm going to go prepare for my match," and then she's like staring into space, and she's like, "Wow!" Like that's more.
Yes,
cracks are starting to show in the heel. But like just bang, I was like, oh right, there's like, what did she say? But yeah, maybe it's the example thing. I don't know. But
yeah,
I'm invested.
Well, let's talk a bit more about the Judgment Day, shall we? Because there's more drama because JD McDonough returned, and him and Finn Balor immediately had an argument like 5 minutes after. Honestly, I made a meme a couple of years ago, Keeping Up with the Judgment Day, a spin-off of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And at the time, it was like a half-funny joke. It's now become the reality. It really has. But the fact of the matter is, Finn Balor and CM Punk had a promo, and CM Punk's words made Finn Balor realize he wants to fight CM Punk once again, one-on-one, alone, without the help from the Judgment Day. It didn't work last time. He thinks it's going to work this time. It's going to be different in Chicago. So I guess it's going to be a straight-up one-on-one match. Or is it, Lawrence? I want to get your thoughts.
I mean, if we know anything about the Judgment Day, I think that Finn Balor's walking in, selling it that it's going to be one-on-one. But we all know that CM Punk is going to have him against the ropes. He's going to have him ready for a GTS. All of a sudden, Dirty Dom, who doesn't have a match at Elimination Chamber after last night's unfortunate defeat by Javon Evans, right? And Gunther took his L. I know we're going to talk about that. But it just makes sense for the perfect storm of JD McDonough getting involved, Dominic Mysterio getting involved. And I think if you want to sell this WrestleMania, you need to pull the trigger now on Finn Balor leaving the Judgment Day. And you need to pull the trigger now on Finn Balor taking the title off of the Intercontinental title off of Dirty Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania, right? If you want to solidify Finn Balor, right, you give him that IC title again. And you go ahead and have, right, Dirty Dominic Mysterio lose it to him. I think this sets up, we talk about Elimination Chamber being the show to set you up going into WrestleMania. Well, it's obvious, right? We all know CM Punk is going to go over. We're not doing Balor versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. You don't sell tickets that way, right? But this is a great way to come in to have a great match. I do think this will be a great match. But you come in with some outside interference. Dirty Dominic Mysterio somehow costs Finn Balor, right, his opportunity against CM Punk. CM Punk retains. Next thing you know, the cracks in the Judgment Day continue to sever. And next thing you know, we have Finn Balor versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio, right? I would love to see that. Also, if they decide, that's just my thoughts on Balor beating Punk. And I did see somebody comment, Donnie said they could have Dom and Javon before Mania, and then Dom versus Finn. So it's just my thoughts.
I honestly love the pitch to do Balor versus Dom for the IC title at WrestleMania with a babyface Finn Balor ending this Dom IC title reign and going back to his old ways and, have Dom turning on him. Do you know what would have made that even better? If Raquel a few weeks ago had defeated Stephanie Vaquer, for the past few weeks, Jade Cargill and Liv Morgan were feuding. Everybody thought that Liv was going to choose Jade, and at the Elimination Chamber, Dom screws Finn Balor, and Raquel's absolutely shocked, and then Liv Morgan puts a chair to her back or something and chooses her for WrestleMania. Bang! That's how you end the Judgment Day. That's how you wrap up this multi-year storyline. And bang, you got two fantastic programs for WrestleMania. But instead, I guess Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton again, Lawrence.
I don't want to see that match again. I don't want to see it. I do not want to see Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton again. I absolutely do not want to see that match. The way you sold it right there, I think we were on the show and we talked about Raquel potentially winning a championship against Stephanie. If they wanted to do a Liv versus Raquel Obviously, that's not the direction they wanted to go. Understandable. A Liv versus a Stephanie Vaquer still, to me, is a great match. I would say it's probably a better match, as far as styles, right? Both of them being, the Liv versus Raquel match would still be good. But I think the Stephanie and Liv match is fine. But it's just clear as plain as day. They're trying to figure out the person for Jade Cargill. And I still believe that the person for Jade Cargill is Rhea Ripley. If you want to sell this Mania, you put Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. You
But
don't
where
do
does
the
that leave Io Sky?
Unfortunately, I would say I don't know. I guess she's off the card for the year.
And the women's tag titles too, because they currently hold them.
I'd rather have the TLC match.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy. I'd rather see the women's title sat out in the tag match. Mental.
I mean, it just leaves it's a tough thing, man. I mean, you putting Tiffany against Jade again. It's like you're not validating the WWE Women's Championship.
I completely agree. I don't know what they're thinking. There is another theory that I'll quickly just say. Some people do think that Bianca Belair might be unreeling the fans online. And this finger surgery she's had in the last couple of days. Obviously, the first story was just a blank screen, so it could be anything. But the video she's posted today is actually an old video. And she's only posting it now to make fans think that she's not going to be there. And then maybe at the Chamber, one of the tag teams, somebody gets taken out, causing a bit of drama, whether it's Charlotte or Alexa. I think it would have to be one of those two. And then Bianca Belair has a shock return, wins that, and then you do Jade versus Bianca. Because that match is a Mania match. Maybe we are getting worked.
There's a chance, man. There's definitely a chance we could be getting worked for sure. There's definitely a chance. I just think, with Rhea, I just think if that's what you want to do, right? Because you have Rhea, Alexa, you have Asuka in now, Tiffany. I just don't see the Tiffany thing working out. I just don't see it working out against Jade again. It's just my only thoughts. So, yeah.
I think as well who's the perfect opponent for Jade, because she's a perfect opponent for anyone, but unfortunately right now it won't work, is Becky Lynch. I think a face Becky Lynch would be amazing in that position to be fighting against like an absolute goddess of a human like Jade is, and because she's like scrappy, it's the man, it's, you know what I mean? It would be so perfect, and she can put on. I think she's similar to her husband in the way that they can just seem to be able to get a 5-star match out of anyone.
Literally, exactly.
That's one thing they definitely share. So it's a shame that can't be. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I would use this situation to put Chelsea Green somewhere. But again, you can't.
Chelsea Green wins everything.
No. I don't think she'd win. But I think again, because Jade's a heel champion, I think you can't even put Chelsea in that position. I think she could build a match where people would care about at Mania, and she'd end up taking the L and like carry on, move on to next year. But they're not in a position title wise to have her do that in that position either. So it's.
I mean, we've got Donnie saying Bianca is not working. She's hurt. I agree. It's unlikely she does. Massively unlikely. But let's go back, 6 months? Let's go back to August. You were commenting the exact same thing about Seth Rollins. We were saying the exact same thing about Seth Rollins. We all thought that was legit. And then what happened to end SummerSlam? We had the cash in. We were all shocked. Anything is possible, but I do agree it's highly unlikely. But again, it is weird to wait 11 months for a finger surgery. It is a bit bizarre. I understand maybe the doctors recommended that, but like there are people online who work in the medical field who are questioning this, and maybe they don't know her situation, do they? But we'll have to wait and see. I do think there's a world where it does happen, and this is an unreal work for season 3. But up next, guys, let's talk about Gunther. Let's talk about Javon Evans. Because last night, Javon Evans won the qualifier. He pinned Dominic Mysterio and earned his place in the Elimination Chamber match. Meanwhile, Dragon Lee costed Gunther, so therefore Gunther now has no route to WrestleMania. And he retired John Cena, he retired AJ Styles. They're doing a tribute to AJ Styles next week. I mean, Lawrence, surely they're going to do something with him at WrestleMania, but right now, who knows?
Yeah, definitely. I think you're going to definitely see Gunther featured on the card. I think next week, which obviously would be the last week going into Elimination Chamber, you're going to get more questions answered, right? Next week, we're going to have the opportunity to see Brock Lesnar, which is going to come back, right? Here, the next Raw, February 23rd. So, Brock Lesnar coming back. Gunther obviously took the L this week. You're going to have the AJ Styles tribute. Um, does AJ Styles show up? Obviously we understand that to our point, AJ Styles is retired, but that obviously hasn't stopped people in the past from being on the show. Are you in the background? Obviously you can't compete. AJ Styles, definitely, I expect him to be in-house. It's just an interesting feat. Obviously, Dragon Lee, you're going to do a Dragon Lee versus Gunther match. That's not a WrestleMania match. That's before WrestleMania, and Gunther will probably tap him out as well, too. Not probably, is going to tap him out. But I want to see where does that lead to? Does that potentially lead to now Rey Mysterio stepping up to Gunther and Gunther retiring Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania? Are we going to keep this career killer? That's my thoughts, is like, if you have Dragon Lee now coming out, that Rey Mysterio looks out for his fellow luchadors. So does that lead you to a match with Rey Mysterio with his career on the line? And I think we know where that goes. If that's what Rey Mysterio is going to do, if he's deciding, hey, I want to go ahead and I'm retiring too. It's just a tough part with Gunther. And we think we said it here in the Wrestling Republic team, is after Gunther won, we would have a hard time really. But if this is going to continue, you have to elevate him to the main event scene. And we're seeing the struggles of booking Gunther now because, it's hard. You don't have much for him to do. That's just my thoughts.
I mean, you mentioned Rey Mysterio there, and I do agree with you. I think that is very, very possible based on the fact that he's going after Dragon Lee right now. We know Rey and Styles were close to a degree as well. Him and Cena were very close, so it would make a lot of sense. The only thing is, Rey has always said he wants to actually retire alongside Dominic Mysterio, whether it's facing him or tag teaming with him, and then he gets to give him the mask at the end of the match. Now, maybe WWE said that's not going to happen, but Gunther will retire you instead. And Rey's just gone, okay, I'll be the company man, sure, and I'll do it. But it does just seem a little bit bizarre to me. And you mentioned, of course, Brock Lesnar is going to be in Atlanta next week. Maybe Gunther's going to be there making fun of AJ Styles, and Brock Lesnar comes out. And he's a fan of AJ Styles. He's always said AJ Styles is one of his favorite opponents, and he just has none of it. And then at WrestleMania, Gunther retires AJ Styles. I can't see that happening because I think that's next SummerSlam. But Jordy, I want to get your take on this entire situation.
Ooh, yeah, exactly like we said. They booked themselves into this corner. I think I'm not that invested in Gunther versus Brock right now. Don't really want to cheer either of them. So, like, I don't know. I just don't think that'll necessarily be the way. I think obviously Ober and Brock had that moment at Mania. That could definitely be something that we maybe see. Is Ober gonna be the one that stops Gunther on this? Because this legend killer thing for Gunther, it has to be a gimmick that we just revisit every now and again. It can't just be his thing. Otherwise, the only people he can ever feud with are people that are about to retire, and that's not fair on Gunther. Nor is it fair on the people who are about to get retired, because it's like, yeah, the one last beating on your way out. So I don't know. It's something that I wouldn't mind revisiting in a situation where it fits, where somebody is retiring and then you book it in the right way, so Gunther kind of swarms like a shark and takes them out, because like that's how he gets his kicks from making people retire. If AJ's there next week and Gunther versus Dragon Lee gets announced, I'm thinking AJ is gonna jump the barrier. That's that. It's
you
the
think he's gonna he can't unretire though.
But it's the logical thing, right? If it's not been announced for next week as it at this point, Gunther versus Dragon Lee. Or has it?
No, and it's also not been announced that AJ Styles is even going to be there. That's why I think it's going to be a promo package, which Gunther's going to interrupt.
It just seems silly. Why are they doing that 2 weeks later?
Yeah, I guess the tribute video. The tribute
it's his
video
hometown.
seemed. Yeah,
right.
Atlanta is his hometown here, Gainesville.
We should be there.
Yeah, I think AJ Styles should be at least in the attendance in the audience, or he should be backstage at least. You know what I mean? Whether I'm not saying he has to get physically involved, but I do think that it would be pretty dope if there is a tribute video. AJ Styles comes out, Gunther's laughing at him, but then obviously he can't get involved, but Dragon Lee, and that sets it up for maybe potentially Elimination Chamber. Maybe that's a match they want to add to Elimination Chamber, or they decide, hey, we're going to put that match on next Monday Night Raw. I think it would be, probably a next Monday Night Raw situation, because you still already have 2 triple threat matches set for next week for the the final Elimination Chamber qualifiers.
Brock might just announce that he's in the chamber as well, by the way. He could well do that. Like, he could come out with...
How many Elimination Chamber qualifying matches are left?
I don't
There's
know.
Only two. There's 2.
He Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
He'll just be like, sound, we'll start with 3 in the ring. Like, I'm Brock Lesnar, and this is Paul Heyman, and I'm going to be in that match. So...
And then who's going to pin it? I don't know. It's all very, very difficult. I mean, Donnie mentions Jericho, and I've said Jericho from the start about Gunther. Him retiring. Yeah. Jericho's also close with AJ too, maybe. To be honest, I think it's way more likely Jericho comes out next week compared to Jericho coming out and actually being the one in the box or relating to the box. I think next week him coming out and taking out Gunther then makes more sense to me. And then they can do that match at Mania, and that's it.
Just a quick short run.
Yeah.
So Jericho just comes in.
Gunther made the list.
Yeah. And
that it would fit
Jericho
Gunther's
makes
character, though.
business.
If Jericho was to return, it fits Gunther's character and Gunther's character's motive to be like, what the hell are you doing here, old man? I'm going to take you out. It does.
Not another one.
He called Goldberg Old Yeller. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Bill, but come on now.
That is nuts. Right. Anyway, guys, that does bring us to the end of today's show. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with friends. We are live every single day. Also, every single morning for Good Morning Wrestling fans, we upload a video. Today's video was me giving my quickfire review for Raw, but also giving the 5 possibilities that I think are inside that box. Tomorrow's video, unless some major news breaks overnight, is going to be 5 options I think Gunther has for WrestleMania. So we'll talk about this tomorrow. But have a good one, guys. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Jordy in the back. We will see you then. Peace.